Hey guys, make a video on THAR. This is a recent reverse split stock. It reverse split 1 to 25. The float's like 1 million. I luckily got some shares pretty cheap before they became super expensive on this one, on Trade Zero. And yeah, so tiny float. And a lot of reverse split pumps usually aren't very strong. I'm usually decently bearish reverse split pumps. Sometimes they go on crazy runs. We had one like a month ago go on kind of a crazy run. TNON, was that one of them? Or TIVC? I can't remember the one that went on. I think it was TNON. That was a reverse split pump that went on this crazy multi-day run. But overall, I'm pretty bearish reverse split pumps. So I didn't even see this until this was already below VWAP. This is kind of like your classic super low volume, quick pre-market pop. But I didn't see it because the volume was so low. Like my scanner, I think something needs to trade like a 80 or 100K for my scanner to even pick it up. So by the time my scanner even picked this up, it was like sub VWAP. I'm like, all right, well, like I'm just not even going to be in this trade. And then we get, some stronger market stuff where there's a bunch of empty space up here. You get some initiation, and if we look at the book map, we can see why this went to high 8A. Um, Remember my APLM video? I talked about, and this is the opposite of what you want to see on the short side, where you have bids, and these bids aren't even that big, but compared to the ask and the volume, they're big enough to push a stock up. So you get an empty order book to the upside, and you get bids, bids, bids to the downside. I'm like, man, I should have long like even if you just long like you could long like I don't know five even just like 5,000 shares or something, and you make like a quick like $1 a share through the book because the book is so empty. But yeah, so this is not what you want to see. I would never touch this. I would never touch this high volume VWAP reclaim because it's nothing but bids in a thin order book. So the book tells me that yeah, there's times where a high volume VWAP reclaim like this can be a long trap. My TAOP video kind of went over this, but this is the opposite of, this is lots of bids, no selling into those bids, and then a blank order book to the upside. Like it's really not good. So we get a big push, and the volume starts coming in, right? You get a lot of volume. Oh, I should show you my chart. Here's my chart. So I did take a pre-market short. I'll show you the signal that kind of led me to that. This was an interesting signal. I know they seem like crazy top tick trades, but these are all bookmap signals. Like you'll see it clear as day why. This is actually me just adding my covers, and you'll see why. Like bookmap's so nice because it'll let you know where to take partial covers at, because you could see the bids. You could see the bids they're going to pull it down to, so it becomes very like your covering becomes simplified because it's like, all right, if it comes out of those bids and the bids hold, I'll cover some, right, and stuff like that. And then this is the 1 minute 200, by the way. That's why I covered this. This is I covered right at market open because I was like, all right, this is pretty far pulled back. It kind of went down only. I'll throw some covers at the 1 minute 200, and then I covered the rest kind of too early, but that's okay. But yeah, that was my trade. Um, so we'll talk about this. So I see the volume come in, and when I see the kind of like the more consistent volume come in, especially in this type of market where things are kind of have better chances for manipulation and stuff, I kind of like, I like to wait. I see this making new high, new highs. When I see something making new high after new high after new high, like I tend to be pretty patient, like to wait for some type of structure. Or in this case, you'll see the bookmap signal, where it's like, here's a new high. It pulls back. There's actually an ask here, but I wanted to wait because I saw the volume start picking up, and I didn't want to be too early. And then I definitely didn't want to short this because it does a trick you see on the long side. Mikey Underdog covers this a lot in his videos, where they take out bids. There's a and this works on the short side just reversed, where they take out bids. There's very little selling below those bids, and then they rotate it and throw new bids up, right? And we see this just look at my BDRX video I just made. Also today, you'll see this on the backside where a big ask gets taken out. There's very little buying above that ask. They pull it down, and then even more asks start to show up. So it's just the reverse, right? Bids get filled, no selling below those bids, new bids come in, and they take out this ask. The bids don't leave. which is not good. And then they push it. So I was like, all right, well, I don't really see. And then I see more bids. I see more bids. I see more bids. I'm like, all right, like, let me just chill and I'll wait to see if there's some type of signal. So obviously, I see the $5 bidder here. I see him holding. I see him get really big with more follow-up bids, and I see this squeeze, and I'm like, all right, well, I don't want to, yeah, I don't want to short anything in this structure because I see these bids come in. But what ends up becoming important is when you get big squeezes, I really like to zoom in. I really like to zoom in to see if bids are actually following this up. Because you see a lot of these asking filled, asking and filled, asking and filled, but outside of these bids all the way down at 5, there's no bids following this up, which is why it goes from, 530s back to 5 instantly, right? Because there's actually, besides shorts getting squeezed and longs chasing, there's not actual bid support um, in the stock. So just because there's bid support down here doesn't mean there's going to be bid support on the pushes higher. So I was like, all right, well, I don't really see a bunch of new asks coming in, and there's still this bidder there. So I was like, I still didn't really want to trade it because I'm like, order book's still pretty empty. Um, I see bids and no asks, so I just consider that not good. We get some more pushes, and I'm like, all right. I think this broke another high day, so we get another high day. I'm like, all right, I still don't see offers, um, and that's right here. And then we start to get a low volume pullback, and then for the first time, where was it? Here, I finally start to see some people start to show up. I start to see some people start to show up, and I start to see some bids. I saw these higher bids get removed, right? So I was like, all right, that's pretty interesting. I like this 530 guy. I like how this 530 guy was below high day. Um, it kind of gives me, a possible level to risk off of that isn't high day, which, as you see, there's nothing above high day, so I'm always a little afraid of getting squeezed. And I was like, all right, let me just keep an eye on this bid down here. And I did short some already, but then we could see it starts to stall for about a minute or two, and then we see these bids start to disappear. We see this 13K guy become 3K, and then not only is this bid start to disappear, I start to zoom out, and I notice there's really no bidders all the way down to the 430s, right? So I see ask coming in. You can see it right here. You see the ask coming in. I see bidders start to pull, and there's really no follow-up bidders below that 5 guy. And we can see here that 5 was holding for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 10 minutes, which is fairly significant on these, volatile plays in pre-market and market open. And yeah, I just shorted in the low 5s. I was just risking this guy. It broke it broke through the $5 because of this guy who was pulling, and then it just went straight down. We get another big 30,000 share bid show up, 30,000 share ask show up here, pushes down even more, and we zoom way out. The 430s guy was where the support level was, so I thought, all right, that's a good enough level to cover some because I expect support. And if you see up here, this guy pulled his ask and there's a lot of empty space. So I want to kind of de-risk a bit. And then my second short, which was on this candle, these two candles. Uh, Again, when a trade is working on the backside, the main thing I actually care about is where are the asks stacked near my average and near high day. In this case, it's this 516 guy, very clear guy. And yes, I was like, well, I'm going to assume, I'll cover some down here to de-risk, but I'm going to assume the stock is in backside as long as this guy and the 530 guy stay there and don't get taken out and with further buying above those levels, right? So something really interesting happened here. A guy with 23,000 shares shows up and I see a bunch of these offers up here. So I'm like, oh, there's going to be a lot of resistance. Well, it's not a bunch because its size isn't that big, but this is kind of a thin, low float stock. So it's just like how the push at market in the beginning wasn't a lot of shares, but it's enough to influence the price. I saw this guy, so I saw all these orders up, in five's a key psychological level. Um, I see this 23,000 share guy show up, and then I see this 77,000 share guy show up. I'm like, oh, um, man, I hope it doesn't take out 516 and I get squeezed and I have to take a loss on the rest of my position. That would really suck. But just because big bids show up doesn't mean a big squeeze is coming, right? What really matters is not just the big bids, but the follow-up price action, right? Like you want to know, okay, there's big bids that support. If is this going to push? Sometimes it doesn't even push. If it does push, are bids following that up, right? In this case, since we have these asks stacked at 480 to 5, what's the buying looking like as these asks are getting broken, right? Is the buying relentless? Is it just nonstop market orders, or is there bids every 3 or 4 cents pushing, 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 pushing? Or in this case, we get a push above 5 and the bidder pulls. Right? The 25K and 77K guy pull, and now and there is one 18K guy here, which is not insignificant, but I'm seeing that up here, after 5 got broken, the buying is starting to stall. You can see it down here with these candlesticks. The buying start to stall. You can tell there's just one guy here at 495, and then if you zoom out from 495, especially at this moment in time, there were no orders below this guy. There's this one guy at 495, and then the book was empty all the way back down to where lows were, 440s. So that guy gets taken out. I actually shorted expecting this guy to get taken out. Just made a judgment call. I was really confident because of the lack of buying above 5 and these lower bidders not being there anymore, right? And I get the instant reaction I want. And yeah, it does a bunch of down only stuff. Here's more ash showing up. No real buying in the stock. Or the book map to the downside is really, really thin, and it goes down. And um, I cover some at the 1 minute 200 and the 380s at market. I just wait for market open volume to cover some, and then the vibe was interesting. I thought it might make like some type of like rotation up to like maybe up here like 450 460, but I ended up just going straight down. Covered on the lower day crack. I should have held more, but I just with the reverse split I didn't know what levels, because the 5 minute 200 was all kind of messed up on this thing because of the reverse split, so I wasn't totally sure where to cover. But yeah, this is a good example of not getting run over in front of the trade when there's no offers, and there's bids and no offers on the ask. So there's bids and no ask in this case, and then here there was one bid who ended up getting pulled, and then new ask showing up after breaking highs multiple times. The volume was okay. I didn't think it was like super impressive, but I thought it was all right. And I decided just to go in there, and then it ended up really working out. So reverse split pump, THR. THR, pretty interesting. More information down below from my Discord. And yeah, I hope that's good. See ya.